Hey everyone, welcome to Wednesday Comics, Catching Up with Garrett. I'm Garrett, and to my left I have Alex, and to my right I have Mark. Oh wait, neither of them are here. It's just me. So here today to talk about 6 books that I'm catching up on. The first one I'm going to go over is Postal number 25, written by Brian Hill with art by Isaac Goodhart. The conclusion of the Postal series. I've been getting this whole thing. Everything has finally come to its bitter conclusion. I mean, we do have a 2-part epilogue that maybe I'll be able to review on this show, but this final issue was great. I love Isaac Goodhart's art. The characters seem so realistic, and each one has their own style that makes them look so much different than, like, it's not like they have the same faces, and it's really standard drawing, but just great art, great story. Brian Hill, he writes Wildstorm, Michael Cray. Matt Hawkins has wrote like Think Tank and things like that. So what a great conclusion to at least the main series book. We get the reasonings for the existence of Eden. We get the story on why Mark's mother did what she did and became the leader of Eden. There's some very messed up stuff in this book. And, that's why it's like, there's always like cities that have secrets, and this one has plenty. What's really powerful about this book, is when it comes to the relationship between Laura and Mark, who are mother and son, it's more like on a professional business nature. But, in this, like, the love for each other does come out, as much as they both try to fight it. So, great ending issue of the series. I'm excited to see what happens next in the 2 epilogue issues. And maybe that's not the complete end of Postal. Maybe there will be something else happening. But if it's the end of the story, I could see it ending. What a great book. Next, rating, I give it a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. Daredevil number 598, written by Charles Soule with art by Ron Garney. It's basically, I think this is part 3 of when Muse is back. He's kind of drawing superhero vandalism all over town on certain buildings and whatnot. Ron Garney's art, thank God he's back, because this book would have suffered a lot otherwise. It is pretty wordy, but you kind of get inside the mindset of what Daredevil's thinking, trying to get so close to Mayor Fisk when trying to hunt down Muse, and he even warns the Kingpin, like, hey, Muse is not a guy you want to get mixed up with, and Kingpin's like, I'll decide who I want to get mixed up with and not, like, trying to take down. And when you get to the very end, there's a crazy, 2 girls come up to Muse and, want to take a picture with him, and for a second, you're like, oh, wow, Muse is, a normal guy, and then 2 panels later, you're like, that was the dumbest thing those girls could have ever done, because, I'm not going to tell you, but I don't think they survived. But, wow, this has been a great issue. I give this a 9 out of 10 as well. For those of you who are doubting Daredevil, like me, I was, before this, when you don't get Garney's art, it just kind of suffers if the art's not a really great style. It just looked great, and you get more machinations on why the Kingpin is gunning after Daredevil, masked vigilantes, and so on and so forth. So, 9 out of 10, definitely check it out. Issue 600 is only 2 away. Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, number 38. Zod's Will, which is part 2 of the Zod storyline. Hal and Kyle land on a planet where Zod, Ursa, and their son Lar Zod, are residing and trying to build their own kind of new Krypton, basically. That part of it, I'm like, whatever. I'm kind of getting sick of Zod being the main villain in so many books, because he is a powerful threat, don't get me wrong, and he's very maniacal in what he plans. But I love Hal and Kyle's interaction, first, they get taken as prisoners. There's an awesome scene where Hal, he realized that his ring is made out of willpower. It's not like a physical ring, so that can't be kept from him. And he uses it to do something for Kyle that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I wouldn't call it a death, but there's a pretty cool simulation of death in this book that you're like, holy cow. I turned the page and I was shocked. I almost fell on the floor. I was like, whoa. Art by Van Sciver. you know, he does a lot of Green Lantern work, and I guess I didn't know until I just looked at the cover that was his art. Looks as great as ever. Definitely gets me excited for part 3. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't a lot of in-depth. There's a lot more action telling the story, but, you know, you could feel the willpower in this book. I give this an 8 out of 10. 8. Now we're on to the shittiest book of these 6, and that is Superman number 41, written by James Robinson, with art by Ed Baines. This is part 2 of an already crappy storyline where Superman and John go to another planet, and to keep them from dying, they're trying to save them, just kind of like they would, you know, they wish they could save Krypton before it exploded. But these people believe in Dermot, their god, and that he wants their planet to die. And it's just absolute craziness. You know, I'm not going to divulge too much. I mean, Ed Baines' art was so good, and I feel bad that he had to draw for a script that was so horrible. You know, Superman's very campy, very cliche. He seems stupid at times. You know, it was trying to come off as like a really powerful Superman tale, and it just came off as like lazy and not well written. So I give this a 4 out of 10. And James Robinson, me and you aren't on good terms right now. Like, you need to pick up your freaking quality, your books, or stop trying to just create filler for other people's arcs. And if that's the sole purpose of why you're writing a book, I think you need to do a little bit more to strive towards in your career. A great book that helped me turn things around was Batman Detective Comics number 973, Fall of the Batman Finale. This was a heartbreaking issue. I mean, you're seeing the downfall of Clayface. You know, he's been, you know, a hero for so long, at least since Rebirth started. You know, you could see always that there was his evil side, always at the edges, saying, like, hey, I could turn into this evil being at any time, and I choose not to. And this is him when he's just lost absolute control. There's, you know, all of the Bat family trying to take him down. Tim's gotten in a concussion trying to take him down. You know, we saw the fallout of the last issue. The mudroom basically collapsed on itself with so much clay that Clayface absorbs and turns into a huge Clayface monster. And another great part of this issue is you get that bonding relationship between Cassie, or the Orphan, and Clayface. Like, they have a strong bond together because, you know, they're both new members to the team. So are some of the others, but these two were really like innocent, fresh people coming in to this team, and they grew a huge bond. And it was really sad when, you know, Clayface is like, hey, you know, I have nothing against you, but this is just who I am. And Cassie's just like fighting for him, like, no, it's not. You can do it again. You can fight through this. And we won't find out till next issue the results of the cliffhanger, but it seems like Clayface will either stay evil, or, you know, he might not be around for a while. So 9 out of 10. You know, this is another one I was worried about quality, but it's really picked back up, so definitely recommend it. Last book I'm going to talk about is Animosity number 12, written by Margaret Bennett and art by Raphael de la Torre. And this was one I saw, and I was like, oh, I don't know, I think I'm kind of getting sick of this. I opened the first page, I'm like, no, I'm not. I love this book. I haven't read an issue in a while, so that's probably why I thought that way, but this is the conclusion of, basically there's been it's called Wasp's Nest. It's like a beehive arc where, you know, these isolate farmers stole a queen of a beehive, and so the hive of this bee colony was suffering because of it. But, you know, Jesse helps return the queen to her people, thinking that'll be the end of this conflict with these farmers, and no, it basically is inciting a war. Raphael de la Torre's art, so good. I love, like, you know, the colors, the style. I mean, even like, this whole book almost takes place in the rain, and it just is so sharp art. You know, there's a lot of emotion between all the characters, and there's even, the only thing I didn't like was the cliffhanger of this book. I don't even know who there's like a scientist that comes upon them and is like, Jesse, look what you did. Like, you screwed everything up. So, I don't know what that means. We'll find out in issue 13, where it looks like Jesse's going to be the new queen of the beehive, so for saving her and saving the original queen. Oops. Well, spoilers. She gets killed by the scientist guy, and looks like Jesse's going to be taking over. So I give this also a 9 out of 10. So I had a lot of good books this time around, but there were some that were a little weaker. But I hope that you were catching up with me. I enjoyed catching up with you. So that's Catching Up with Garrett. I'm Garrett, and we will see you next time for the next 6 that I'll review with you. So everyone, keep catching up.